Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Platform 1. It's me, Jack, here with Dave.
Hello.
Once again, you're live with us from the Hattons Hub. We're going to be live for the next hour or so, and as ever, there's plenty of awesome model railway
It's been
news.
another really busy week for, well, pretty much every scale, really. Whether you're an N-gauge model or you go right up to O-gauge, we've got something for you today.
That's it, and as you can see, there's already plenty of stuff out here on the table to see. There's of all different scales and sizes, so there's something for everyone, really.
It really has been. We've had so much come through, a lot of new releases, some surprises too, so as we may have hinted at in the trailer as well.
Yeah, we did promise you a little surprise earlier in the week, so what's under these boxes will remain a mystery for the next minute or so, I think. But some eagle-eyed viewers may already guess what might be under there, so we look forward to showing this off to you straight away. I'll just take a look at the chat and see who we've got here with us already. We've got Stuart Barnard says afternoon all.
Hi, Stuart.
Andrew McKay says, you guys are awesome as the models you promote. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Fantastic.
That's very kind of you to say. Bluegrass Rail Fan is back once again. He says, morning everyone, it's 8 a.m. for him.
Bright and early.
And he's been doing a bunch of work on his layout as Mother Nature still thinks it's July and it's a very high temperature. It's getting a bit chillier for us over here. 700 Shunter is back again as well. He says, good day from Australia. SLD 51. Piccadilly Model Railway by John Warner. Bricks for days. Medway Peninsula Model Railway. Upwell and onwards, Ben Davis, Onno Mulder, Castle Junction and New Junction all here and ready to start the show. So
great to see you guys.
Thanks very much for all joining us once again. Right, so I think we're going to have to deal with the elephant in the room, aren't we?
Yeah,
we
don't usually have just plain white boxes on our table, do we? There's got to be something underneath them. And we said a little surprise, but we actually went for two big surprises. And, well, I think we'll take a look, shall we?
Should we unearth it?
Let's see what we've got. So this is the first time they've been seen anywhere. This is a Platform 1 exclusive, and these are the first decorated samples of our exclusive Hattons original A4s in O-gauge.
And we've got the first two samples that have just arrived with us here at the hub. We've got the two of the LNER Garter Blue variants. We've got Bitten here in front of me in its current condition in LNER Garter Blue. And we've got Mallard number 4468 in its original condition as well. So
spanning almost 70, 80 years of the LNER Garter Blue livery there in those two. And these are exquisite. We've really had a chance to have a good look over them, and there's a couple of detail differences between the two, which I'm sure we can have a look at some close-ups of.
That's it. I will switch to some close-up images
Fantastic.
Right
Let's
now.
take a look.
So as you can see there, that's some great close-up images. As you can see too, we've got two different tender variations on show with these models. We've got the non-corridor and corridor tenders, corridor being on Bitten, of course.
Both of these are the Streamline Tender 2. We are producing 4 different tenders to mix between the A3s and the A4 locomotives, so not just the two you see on show here.
That's it. There's quite a lot of different variations that will be coming through. Obviously, these are just representing the Garter Blue locomotives, but we will have quite a lot of different liveries coming through, won't we, with the final release?
We have 9 releases of the A4s coming into stock, which will be pre-numbered and pre-named, but also alongside those we have unnumbered versions available, so you can replicate any of the 34 members of the class that you'd like.
That's it. If there's a particular name or number that you want to go for, it's really easy to do that because we've provided the options there for most of the different variations that you need.
And you can see the full level of the detail in there, the curvature of the lining around the front smoke box, the etched nameplate too on the side there will come pre-fitted, as will the skirts. You can just about see towards the front there the chrome stepping plate as well under the nameplate. And we've really taken a shine to these, to be quite honest with you. With O-gauge, they have quite a bit of presence, as you can see on our desk, but also as well, it's as I've said before for O-gauge, it's the borderline between miniature locomotives and models, and these really do sort of really come across.
It really brings that home with such an iconic, recognisable locomotive. It really does add, like you say, that feel of this is a miniature loco, not a model. And especially when you see these running and you've got all those moving parts, it really does add to that atmosphere. And I think you pointed out the metal steps on the front there and a few of the other details, and it really just brings these off.
But these two models have a job to do as well. They're not just here to look pretty on our desk, and these, as we mentioned previously, are the first decorated samples we've had of the A4. So our exclusives manager, who's been on our stream a couple of times, will take these fully reviewed and make sure every inch of delivery is as perfect as it can be, and then we'll sign them off for production should they be so.
That's it. We're perfectionists here, aren't we? So
we are
everything's got to
indeed.
be as good as it can be. A lot of work has gone into these models already, as you can probably see from the quality of the samples that we've got here. But a lot of work did go into getting the shape of that nose cone just right, because it's such a complicated shape to get, and we had to make sure that it was 100% correct. That did involve a lot of fantastic community feedback as well, which we were very, very grateful for.
Yes.
And a lot of fantastic help from LNER historians as well. So we're pretty confident this is going to really show off the A4 in all its majesty and O-gauge, really.
Yeah, we're really happy with the quality of the model that's been brought through so far. I mean, as with any decorated sample, there may well be minor revisions to make, which we'll put onto the development process. But at the same time, we are expecting these in towards the end of the year. They are available to pre-order now for £750 each, if you check that link out in the description. And with them being here first, we will be putting some content on our Facebook page. We'll be putting some really up-close pictures, up-close and personal on our website as well. But they are here first, so you guys have got the scoop.
That's it. We'll give you another look at the images right now anyway, so you can get a good close look at those. But as Dave says, you'll be able to go on the website yourself and have a really good close look at those too. And
you can see there again just the different styles of how much it really brings out. You don't really think of the difference in a Gresley tender, but actually once you've got that corridor on the end, it completely changes the profile.
It's a totally different look, isn't it? It really does affect how it affects the whole locomotive, doesn't it, really?
And all the colour schemes have been researched from the original locomotives themselves, all down to the numbers, down to the builder's plates, the full details there. The plate you see on the side of Bitton there to commemorate its 90-mile-an-hour running in 2013. Mallard, of course, in this condition, correct without its plate, because this is the day that it actually broke the record, so it didn't have the plate while it was doing it.
Fully original condition.
But we are producing a model that is in its current condition preserved at the National Railway Museum as well.
Indeed, we are. Like we said before as well, there is a lot of different variations coming through. We've got Silverlink as well, haven't we?
Yes.
And that iconic LNER silver livery, which ran with the coronation stock. Of course, we're getting BR blue liveries, BR green liveries. There really is something for every era of modeler for the A4.
Quite a lot of the iconic A4 names there as well. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Union of South Africa, Commonwealth of Australia as well. We've really got some high-hitting names. And of course, as mentioned, we also have the unnumbered variations being produced too. So if you haven't made one that's to your style, you can buy the unnumbered version and make your own.
That's it. There's plenty of scope for every modeler. But it's what gets me with these is the level of detail that we've managed to get. It's just astounding. You can probably see from some of the handrails and a bit of the pipework on the front there. And the front buffer beam, there's a lot of detail on there too. There's a full cab interior. And on the tender as well, like we've already touched on, there's the different variations in the tender, so that's all prototypical and correct as you'd expect. And there's loads of detail here too. It comes with an optional coal load as well, so you don't have to have that in if you don't want to. And we do offer coal load kits if you want to add something that looks a little bit more realistic as well.
And we will be putting some really high definition images on our website pretty shortly after the stream too, so if you really want to see some of those details up close and personal, check that out.
And closer to release, we will be doing a longer video going through the A4s in more detail as well, so do make sure to subscribe to our channel and you'll be able to see that when it comes out as well. And we will have more information as the A3s come into stock as well.
Indeed. What are people thinking?
Everyone is going crazy in the comments for this one, as I'm sure you guys would
thought
be.
That might have been the case.
We've got SLD51 says, O-Gauge A4s, very nice. Uphill and Onwards says, loving the O-Gauge A4s, they look incredible. Ono Mulder says, they're awesome locomotives. Charles Curtis, beautiful. Lakota Thirauf says, they've been waiting for these. Ben Davis says, oh my god, the A4s look amazing. Now we need to get an O-Gauge layout. That's the problem for a lot of people, really, is that I think a lot of people are starting to get into O-Gauge.
That's it.
Due to these coming out, because it's such a recognisable locomotive and it's something people have wanted in their collection in this scale for a long time.
And we don't only sell the locomotives as well, we do sell the full suite of accessories. We sell the track, the controllers, coaches, wagons, buildings, trees, the whole lot. So if you are being tempted into O-Gauge, and to be honest, with these in front of me, I'm being tempted, and I think you are as well. So we can sort you out with the full lot.
It's hard not to be. But again, if viewers of our previous stream as well last week, we talked about quite a few O-Gauge updates, didn't we?
Yes.
And there really is a lot coming through in O-Gauge at the moment. So if you were interested in getting into this side of the hobby, it's a great time to do so. There's been plenty of announcements and updates recently. There's a lot of locos coming through. There's a lot of coaches coming through. But there's already a lot of stock out there at the moment as well for quite a few different eras and regions of the country. So it's quite a good place in the hobby to get into if you are interested. But obviously, like we say, it's hard not to get curious if looking at one of these.
It certainly is, and I've been raring, chomping at the bit to get these out there, and we really wanted to make sure we had the exclusive for you guys on Platform 1. So, as said, you've got the scoop here, you know first.
That's it, you are the first to see these in the world. Except for us.
Except for us.
So we've got still a lot of comments coming through here. We've got Bluegrass Rail Fan says the details with O-Gauge never ceases to amaze me.
Yes.
Same here. Upwell and Onwards says it'd be interesting to do an O-Gauge Silver Jubilee or even the LNER Coronation Express. That would be interesting to see.
That would be interesting to see. Quite lengthy having the actual coaches to go of the A4s.
You need a lot of space for that.
And we are, of course, producing the Gresley Teak carriages as well, so not quite the Crack Express vehicles that were designed to go with the A4s, but they still complement them very well. And as soon as we have more development updates on those, we will feature them on Platform 1 and on our website as well.
That's it. If you check out the site right now, obviously there's details on the A4s. There will be more information coming up a little bit later today with photos of these samples. They are that new. And there's information on the A3s too. And as Dave said, the Teaks are on there as well. You can take a look at some of the sample images for the BR liveries on there right now. And we should have samples of the Teak livery soon as well. So we look forward to possibly show you them on a future live stream as well.
We will indeed.
Right, the comments are coming through thick and fast here. This is really great to see. You guys are so into these. Ben Davis says, great job, Hattons on the A4. You've done an amazing model again. Really,
thank you.
Thank you very much for the feedback there. Castle Junction says, O-Gauge lovers are going to snap these up. Hopefully they will. Gareth Waite says, they're brilliant. If you could afford one, you'd definitely get one. And when is Flying Scotsman due? The A3s are all due this month, in fact. So they should be with us in the next few weeks, hopefully.
They are indeed. Once we've got a certain date on the A3s, we will be adding all that information to our website and our social media pages as well. So keep your eyes peeled.
That's it. New Junction asks, what radius will the A4s go around?
They will go around Peco's set track curves, the O-Gauge set track curves. We do recommend sort of minimum of 5 feet or so, but they can get around the set track curves, which are a little tighter than that. So no real challenges for them, to be honest.
That's it. And I mean, it might not look ultra prototypical, but it means you can have them running in a tighter space, really,
yes.
as well.
Wouldn't try it at the highest of speeds, though. If you have got some tight curves, just slow down before you get to them, and you should be absolutely fine.
You don't want to derail one of these. Ian B asks, should Bitten have the valances in this condition?
Yes, now this is the locomotive as it is preserved, as it was at the Great Gathering in 2013 and 2014, hence the commemorative plate on the side commemorating the 90-mile-an-hour running. It currently is at the 1-to-1 collection in Margate without the valances, but when it was a runner previous to that, it did have them on the side.
I do remember seeing it in that condition, I think, at the Great Goodbye at Children as well, which was a fantastic event. It was really nice to see them all together there. We've got Stanley Carr says, I want to buy now.
Well, you can certainly pre-order now. If you check the link in the description, we've got all the details there to sign yourself up.
It won't be too much longer till they're in stock either. A few more months to go, Stanley. Malcolm Phillips says they're lovely models. And one last question we've got from Ben Davis is, would making an A4 in Virgin paint job or Intercity livery maybe for some fun? I've seen a lot of stuff. I think we talked about this once before, didn't we?
We have mentioned it.
There's been some interesting Photoshop jobs online of Virgin liveried A4s, and I think we said it just goes to show that there isn't really a livery that doesn't suit the A4.
There's been quite a lot of interesting different colour schemes. I mean, the bonuses as well, if you wanted to give it a go, we do sell the various rail paints in the Rail Max range too.
Exactly.
So if you do fancy a bit more of an, I don't want to say controversial, but unconventional colour on your A4, that's probably the way to go. Check out the paints we sell and let your imagination run wild.
If you lay out some sort of alternate history or a different dimension where steam lasted on the main line a bit longer, then to go for it. By all means, we'd love to see it.
Absolutely. Send your photos if you do.
We got another question here from Glenshiel Railway. He says, O-Gauge looks amazing in the garden. The temptation is real. And this is coming from a dedicated N-Gauge modeler. So you really will be making a big size jump from N-Gauge.
That would be quite a bit to go.
That's it.
I think we can do a bit of a size jump as well, but the other way from O to N, can't we, with some of the things we're looking at today. And this is the release of the Sonic Models VEA, which has come into stock this week. Now, these have been hotly anticipated by Engage modelers for about a year or so now. And these are distributed by Revolution Trains, who have brought them to the market. It's actually Sonic Models' first release.
Yeah,
ever.
It's not just the first one that we've had, it is actually the first ever product from Sonic Models. And we were really quite interested to see how this looks. And as you can see from the photos, it's hard to believe that's an Engage model, isn't it? It's incredibly detailed.
They have crammed a huge amount of detail into these wagons. You can see there some of the separately fitted handrails, full NEM couplings and underframe detail, intricate liveries, even with some of the stickers printed on them, slightly worn away as they would do in real life.
Well, I read online there's a few there where it's actually printed so that where they've ripped off the stickers, the residue of the stickers is still there, which you can see. I think it's on the grey and yellow models.
Right.
It's quite a nice achievement for Engage to have that level of detail.
And these as well fill a huge gap in that modern image Engage wagon market. These actually were converted from normal vans, 12-ton vans in the 1970s, mainly for munitions traffic and between various different army bases. The reason they had to stick with these four-wheel wagons is some of those army depots had such tight track they couldn't get the new larger bogie wagons in. Right. So they had to actually keep some of the smaller ones on the go. So they fitted them out, they refurbished them, fitted them with air brakes so they could work with more modern locomotives, and they got another 20 years or so out of them.
I did wonder about that because it is unusual to see such a small wagon that lasted that late into BR. And I always wondered what the reason was for that.
Everyone thinks that, but you think that little four-wheel wagons are going back to having steam engines, to little shunting yards and things like that. But actually, you can really get something quite different into a modern layout right up until the late 1990s in the grey and yellow livery there. So it's good for Engage models, not only because it fills a gap in that sort of military traffic area, but also if you do want to hark back to the original style of four-wheel wagons, you really can do on a layout right through until the privatisation era.
It's just a bit of variation, isn't it, for a more modern layout? And there's three different liveries that we've got here, isn't there? We've got BR Maroon.
Yes.
Then we've got the slightly later grey and red Speedlink livery.
Yes.
And then we've got the final grey and yellow there as well.
So they go right through the eras, and of course, with there being hundreds of these wagons made, you will have had the different colour schemes run with each other whilst the whole fleet was repainted.
Yeah.
But as said, these really are, the quality of the finish matches the quality of the detail on them as well. And running on a layout, they look absolutely perfect there behind a suitable locomotive as well. They really do pair up quite well with something in BR blue.
I think we have got some running footage here as well,
right.
so we'll go through that quickly as well. Now,
well, here's what I was talking about. The different liveries there. You can see the full level of detail, the printing too.
And here it is on a rake as well with a lovely BR Blue logo at the front. And you can just see how they look great in a really long train. Now, they did run in quite a few different formations, didn't they? They did run on their own as part of a VEA rake. But they did quite often run with other larger stock as well, didn't they?
In a lot of rakes, towards the 1980s and early 1990s, British Rail had what was called a Speedlink network. So it was essentially a couple of wagons in a train all combined up and go into different places. So you can mix them in with more conventional rolling stock. You can run them as a large rake, as you see there, behind a Class 27, or another appropriate locomotive. So whether you just want a couple to put into your current freight rake, or whether you really wanted to start up with a formation, these are the wagon for you. And they are in stock now. You can buy them right now, and they're available for $19.95 each.
I think, as you can see from the detail as well, it's not about price point that these have come through at for the level of detail that they've achieved and that livery application and all the features that come with it. And Sonic have gone for quite a few different variations with the model, haven't they? There's a few different tweaks here and there on each one. Obviously, we've spoken about that there's three different livery styles, but there is different running numbers for each one as well. I believe there's 5 different variations of the BR Maroon.
Yes.
There's 5 variations of the red and grey. And there's 3 variations, of the grey and yellow. So that enables you to have different running numbers on the go. And just if you want to go for full prototypical look, you've got all the different numbers. And obviously, with Engage, it can sometimes be quite tricky to renumber being so small. So it's nice to have that option there to run them straight out of the box.
And as you could see on the wagons there as well, some of the actual individual printing is different, down to the stickers they carried for the hazardous loads that they did transport.
Yeah.
Different on each wagon, so it's not just down to that individual running number, but a lot of engaged modelers have already been excited for these. We've seen on our social media channels, we've seen on our website the high level of response that these have had, because they do fill that big gap, sort of a modern freight wagon, but also that more traditional design. It's not something you really get, and a lot of people have been asking for it, and here they are.
They're in stock. I'm ready to go, and there's a lot that you can run these with. There's a lot of locomotives out there. In our research, we saw some fantastic photos online. 37s, as you saw there, with a 27. There was a lot of different locos that you could run these with, and there's some great ideas for formations. If you check out sites like Flickr as well, you can get some great ideas for your layout. But we're just really happy to have these in. It's a great first model from Sonic Models with their partner Revolution, and we're just really happy to see a nice high detail engaged model for you guys.
And we're really excited to see what they bring through next as well.
Indeed. There's a bit of interest in these in the chat as well. We've got SLD51 says you should get some of these as they look very well detailed. They really are. It's something that really surprised me when I first took one out of the box. Is just there's quite a bit of weight to it.
They've got a decent bit of weight. They've got a good weight just above the underframe as well on the inside, so they will stay on the track quite well. I mean, even holding it like that now, it's got a really good feel to it.
For such a tiny wagon, you just don't expect it, but it feels very robust and chunky in a way. And you've got, you can probably see from the photo as well, the separately fitted handrails on there, which really do set it off. It just adds an extra dimension to it. And obviously the ribbing on the sides, on the ends, sorry, that really does set it off as well. It's very fine and very accurate.
The quality of the moulding is exquisite. It really is some fine detail there, down to the rivets on the side of the wagon, the underframe detailing too, which is, well, fully complete for the air brakes in there as well. You've got NEM standard couplings. You've also got air pipes that come in the detailing pack if you want to put air pipes on, which actually is a bit of a rarity for Engage models. So the brake pipes, they are very, very small, so you'll need your
tricky to fit, but
you'll need your best tweezers for that one.
Maybe a microscope as well.
Maybe so. It just shows the level of quality they've gone to on the first model, and they really are making a bit of a statement with them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more.
They've certainly come in all guns blazing, haven't they? Bluegrass Railfan says the wagons have caught his interest. He says, I'm a simple guy. I see the chance to run a unit train and I start fumbling for my bank card. You're a man after my own heart. 700 Shunter says the vans look really nice. I prefer to stick with 00 for the moment, but if I ever go down to N, these vans are a must buy. Certainly are. Ben Davis says, Jack and Dave, I want one. What's your favourite out of the VAA munitions vans on the table? I'm a bit of a sucker for the red and grey Speedlink livery. It really suits them, and it's got that sort of industrial vibe of that period, and it goes with a lot of other stock, so I'm quite partial to that.
I think I'm going to have to go for the grey and yellow personally. It's caught my eye with the eye-catching yellow end on there as well, and
it makes it feel dangerous as well because it's got warning panels on the end. So.
It really does sort of show that high fret, almost munitions traffic that they carried. So maybe no need to keep the hazard signs on your layout, but certainly on the side of the wagons they're appropriate.
Indeed. Upwell and Onwards says it never stops to surprise him, the level of detail on such a tiny model, and it's incredible. That's something that's really come on leaps and bounds with Engage and 00 as well, but each passing year, the detail levels and the intricacy of printing just keeps getting better and better, and it's just really exciting to see, really.
That's certainly it. It's a great time to be an Engage modeler at the moment, with the likes of Dapol and Sonic models bringing through high quality detail models with great printing, innovative features, as we saw in the Class 50 on last week's live stream as well for regular viewers, with the lighting and the iron core motor. So it's a fantastic time to be an Engage modeler, and take a look at what we've got available.
We've got a lot of committed Engage guys across our social media platforms, and they're always asking us about what's coming through, and we're just really happy to show off what is coming, and there is a lot coming through at the moment, so it's as Dave says, great time to be in that part of the hobby. We've got Andy1962 says VAA munition vans look incredible, especially for Engage. I think it's developing into a golden age for modelers of all gauges, and it's great to see so many new producers and products come into the market. Couldn't agree more.
It's keeping us busy every Friday afternoon, isn't it, really?
You know, see how busy it is.
We've so much to talk about in every episode of Platform 1 when there's no risk of running dry yet, I think.
That's it, we're having to pick and choose at the moment, aren't we? Because there's just so many things. And finally, we've got James Pett here, and he says these vans will be extremely useful for his layout, which is currently under construction. He's been wiring in a crossover that will probably only be used for trains containing these vans. So that must be, like we were talking about before, a bit of a tight bend.
They've got their own places to go, and that's the really great thing about these, is you can either just have a couple as part of a larger rake or being shunted on their own, or you can have 15 to 20 in a block train as well. So whether you want few or many, they're really worth a look.
That's it. And as we said before, all the different variations of these are in stock right now. They're £19.95 each. You can order them on our website. Check out the link in the description below, and there's high quality photos so you can have a look at the detail up close as well. So we've got another fantastic N-Gauge item, which you've probably seen over there on the table as well today, from Gagemaster in partnership with Dapol. This is their latest variation of the Class 66 in cult favourite British Rail livery.
This is one of the most talked about diesel locomotives over the last few years.
Potentially ever.
Potentially ever. It's a good point, actually. And this was painted to commemorate the anniversary of British Rail. It's actually British Rail 1948 to 1997. And that was one of the Class 66s transferred to GB Rail Freight from EWS a few years ago. And ever since it was painted into that scheme, it's not been out of the spotlight, really.
It has remained a huge fan favourite, this one, ever since it came out, hasn't it? And how can it not be in such a iconic colour scheme? And it's something that, you know, obviously the 66s weren't around during this era, and they were just coming in as privatisation started. They never would have seen this livery, but it just goes to show that that livery was perfect for diesel locomotives, because it really does suit the Class 66, this one.
It would fit in absolutely perfectly as part of a 1980s scene. Now, a lot of modelers have been doing that, and then people are looking forward to our own double O gauge 66 in that livery. But now for the N-Gauge market, who've been crying out for this locomotive too, it's now available and filling some really big gaps.
It absolutely is. And, you know, as it's a 66, there is all sorts of things that you can run this with. Yes. There's plenty of stock out there already in N-Gauge, and there's plenty more coming through in the future as well. So there's a lot out there that you can run a great train with. And as we've come to expect with Dapol, it's a fantastic model as well on its own. There's a lot of detail in there, and it's got a very strong, capable chassis as ever with a Dapol diesel, really.
Underneath the hood, it's the usual high quality there. You've got an 18-pin decoder socket, fully working lighting, really powerful motor, a lot of die cast in there to keep it quite weighty as well. But it is also matched by the details. You've got a cab interior, you've got full bogie side frames on there. Again, almost talking the same about the VEAs, really. The quality of the moulding on it, down to the ribs on the sides, is really well defined.
And you've got those nice fine grills on the top as well.
Yes.
There really is quite a lot going on with it, and you've got the separately fitted parts there too. It's just nice to see so much detail coming through in the smaller scales.
And it looks perfect on a layout as well, being a sort of smooth, capable runner, but also matching the details as you see there. It just looks great either on its own or as part of a small rake, and some of the details really stand out, especially with the pre-fitted nameplates too. That's always a little bit of a fiddly task that Dapol and Gagemaster have saved you.
It was a really nice touch for them to add that. Like you said, you didn't really need to do that, and they could have had printed nameplates on there, but that does come pre-fitted in the box, so it's nice, not a job that you have to do. As you just saw there as well, it's got directional headlights, which are really nice. And it's pretty capable on most track work, as you can see. It's pretty good around tight radius curves, over the points, and anywhere else on your layout, really. So it's quite good for a lot of different tasks.
The 66 really is the modern era diesel, and it can handle any load, any type, and we sell a lot of wagons and even some passenger stock to go with these locomotives. But in this livery, it is just the celebrity of the fleet now. It's the standout vehicle, really, in that bringing back that halcyon era of BR in the 1970s and 1980s, but giving it a modern refresh and commemorating the British Rail years as well.
I think it evokes that sort of enthusiast spirit in a lot of people as well, doesn't it? It's something for people to get excited about. It's something for people to get interested in and get into either big railways as a hobby or into model railways as a hobby as well. It's just something to get people interested and get them excited. So we're big fans of the VR66 here at Hattons, aren't we? So
and it's available to order right now as well. We do have these in stock at the moment. They're available at £99, and if you check out that link in the description, you'll be able to order one right away. And the interesting thing is here, is this is the first of 2 Gauge Master Class 66s with Dapol. We've had 789, but we're also getting 783.
Indeed, Biffa livery, which is a little bit more infamous than the British Rail one. GBRF has had quite a penchant for creating unusual new liveries for the 66s when they've gone in for overhaul or just for almost a bit for fun, really, sometimes, isn't it? So there's quite a lot of interesting colour schemes that have come out in recent years, and Biffa was no exception in that bright red. Literally like the Biffa bins that you see out and about on the street.
And it was named after a competition with their staff as well, and actually commemorated as the Flying Dustman,
which is
after
fantastic.
the Flying Scotsman there, I believe. So quite a link. But those 2 between them really are the standout locomotives in the GBRF Class 66 fleet now, and a lot of people have been asking for both. So 66789 is available right now, but you can also pre-order 783, and that's due within the next couple of months.
They really are some of the 2 biggest celebrities on the network at the moment, aren't they? And people are clamouring to get out there and get photos of them in real life. It's always quite exciting when people get to see them out and about. I think I've seen the BR Blue one once, very luckily, but it was in passing very quickly, so I'd love to get another look at it once again.
I've not caught TV yet. They're the more boring colour schemes when I see them, but still quite a lot of vibrant ones, and I'll have to keep my eyes peeled.
Or we'll just have to keep our eyes on the internet and see the great photos that everyone seems to get of them out and about. Yeah, a lot of comments again for this. We've got Bluegrass Rail fan says the Classic 6 is also interesting to him. It's kind of like a heritage unit here in the US, I take it. I suppose it almost would be, because it...
Well, they are developed from the SD40-2 locomotives, which is an American design.
One of the most iconic diesels ever, really.
That's it. So they really go back to that American heritage there. And of course, most of them were built in Canada or America as well. So they do come across the pond, and they have that link with the States.
I suppose they've been around for a while now. They're not spring chickens anymore. They've couple of decades under the belt, Neil, aren't they? So
the first ones were delivered in 1998 to the UK, so 21 years of 66s already, and many more yet, I'm sure.
I'm going to say there's no signs of stopping yet, are they? We've got Ono Mother says, stunning, this Class 66. Ben Davis says, I'd get a Class 66 in N-gauge, but it's a little bit too small for his gauge, which is fair enough. Obviously, we will have this livery coming through in our 00 version of the 66, which will be due later in the year. We've got 700 Shunter says, which Victorian livery would you like to see applied to a 66? I'd like to see one in SECR livery. That'd look gorgeous in SECR livery.
That wouldn't be a bad one to call that. I think I'm going to have to go with you there, actually, and say the SECR myself.
I think so.
I think we'll stick with your opinion on that one.
Possibly Caledonian Blue might look good as well.
Oh,
you never know.
Have to have a ponder.
Aye. Ben Davis says he can't wait to get the Hattons Class 66, so yeah, we should have more news on that forthcoming, hopefully.
As soon as we do have that, of course, we'll feature it on Platform 1 and our social media channels, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Definitely. Lakota Thiralf says that they're sold on Engage now. And Glen Shield Railway says that they wish there was a sound version of the 66.
They do have space for a sound speaker within them. It's not something we provide ourselves. We can fit a normal decoder for you, but there is room in there for an 18-pin sound decoder and a suitable Sugar Cube speaker as well. So if you did want to give it a go, it's a pretty easy installation. So why not give it a try?
Definitely possible. Worth a go. Bluegrass Rail fan is back again as well and says they think they've built a few 66s up in Indiana at Muncie, a few hours north of him. And by heritage unit, he was referring to the paint scheme or the scheme on a newer unit. That's fair enough, yeah, because I think we talked about this before. There's a lot of that going on in America as well, of these classic paint schemes coming through. So, yeah, truly interesting to see these classic liveries reborn for the modern day.
That's it, and commemorating railway history is always a nice angle as well, and really makes for some bright and colourful models.
Absolutely. Right, I think we're going to go back up the scale again now, aren't we?
We can't leave out the 00 modeler today. We can't. We've had big, we've had small. We have to have something 00.
We've got to get into the middle, haven't we? So, as a few viewers have already spotted out, we've got the new Gauge Master Network Rail track cleaning wagon, which is produced for them by Peco. This is a fantastic item that we've had in, and it's had an amazing response from customers.
These are absolutely flying off the shelves. I've not seen something go this fast for quite some time, really.
Me neither, really. And it's partly down to the Network Rail livery, really. Anything in Network Rail livery is always popular. So if this is something that you're really keen to get, now is the time to go for it, because I don't think it will be here forever. It certainly will go quickly.
But it doesn't just look pretty either, does it? It's actually got a purpose, as you can see there on the bottom. It's got a fully sprung cleaning pad there too, that actually when you powered a wagon, put it in with your favourite locomotive there, will actually clean the railhead on your layout too. So it's actually not just designed to look like a track cleaning wagon. It is a track cleaning wagon.
It will actually do it. And like you said, with that sprung mechanism, that means that it can bed itself in quite well to the track, and it can cope with, if there's any issues with dodgy bits of track work or points and stuff like that, it does have a bit of give in it, so that it is able to go over different track and over upgradients and things like that. But it's very effective, isn't it? We've had it going on our layout, and it's done quite a good job of getting the muck off.
That's it. We gave it a trial run just before coming on air, and it really has sort of walked the walk and talked the talk. And it's actually a very weighty vehicle as well, which it needs to keep the pressure on that pad on your rails. But the spring that you can see there does flex and move, as Jack mentioned, to allow it to get every single inch of the railhead covered. And the bonuses as well, it comes with standard NEM couplings, so it will hook up to any of your 00 locomotives that have them.
So this is actually a reproduction of one of Peco's Continental vans, isn't it?
Yes.
Which he produced for quite some time, but as Dave says, it's been retooled there to have proper UK spec NEM couplings on there, and obviously to have the network rail livery, and it suits it, but it makes it fit in with other stock that you might have as well. So you could run this as part of, potentially if you wanted, as part of an engineer's train, or you could have it with other network rail measurement stock or something like that, and it wouldn't look out of place. But it is actually serving a purpose with that cleaning pad on the bottom. It
does fit in quite well, especially with the amount of network rail models that are coming through at the moment in 00 gauge. You can pair it up with some really iconic locomotives, or the new measurement train HST as well. And it's made to look the part, and it does sit in quite well with a lot of the track cleaning methods. They do stand out on your layout, or they might not even be a rail vehicle at all. You may have a track rubber or something along those lines. And with this fitting in, it actually makes cleaning your track quite fun as well.
It is. It makes it more of a joy to do than a task that it has to be. It's just, you're actually running a train to clean your railways, which is what you do on the actual network.
Yes.
It's not, you wouldn't go around with a giant hand and a track rubber, so it actually makes it, in a weird way, a bit more realistic in that regard. Obviously, there isn't such a wagon on the network with a giant cleaning pad on the bottom, although I'm sure Network Rail probably wish there was such a thing, because it'd make their jobs a lot easier. But in a way, like I say, it does make it a little bit more realistic, because you're using a train to do that job. So it's a cracking little piece of kit.
It really is, and as said, they're absolutely flying off the shelves as well. They are available right now, and they're available to order at £30 each, which, to be honest, for what it is a bargain price.
It really is, because what you're getting, it's not just, you're getting a fantastic detailed wagon with a very capable chassis, and it's a cleaning device as well. And quite often, you're paying that for just a cleaning device or just a wagon. So you really are getting double for your money in this case. And like you say, they're flying off the shelves. So if you do want one, you're going to have to get one soon. £30
do check them out. Check the link in the description, because they are going pretty quick.
Yeah, we've had this on our test track, like we said before, and it was pretty capable. And we've managed to scrub our railheads clean, thankfully.
Well, it'll save me the job of a track rubber later, I think. So.
The comments are popular for this one too, as with everything else we've had today. We've got Jeremy Olsenska says that it looks really good. Tony Sager says the track cleaning wagon almost looks like a Hornby ferry van. Now, someone said that on Facebook actually.
It's got a lot of similarity in the shape and the size, and the ferry vans themselves are based on international vehicles that came over to the UK. So it's almost a role reversal there, really, that the international wagon has now become a UK wagon once again. So it's got that similarity in length and size, and really does sit in quite well.
It does have that continental look to it, but thanks to the livery, it doesn't look out of place in a UK setting. And as we said with Hornby Ferry Van, there is wagons that look like that anyway, so there's a lot of different things you can run with it as well. Upwell and Onward says the track cleaner will be a massive upgrade from his Peco rubber and Woodland Scenic's tidy track kit. It does just take some of the effort out of it, really.
It does, and it makes it quite fun as well, because you are still operating a train on your layout, which is the most fun part of having one.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Medway Peninsula Model Railway says, does it come with replacement pads, or are they available separately?
They are available separately. If you hop onto our website, they're available to order. They are £4.80 each for the replacement pads. But having a look at how much of our layout we've covered and what's been taken off the pad there, you shouldn't need to replace them too often, actually. I think they'll last quite a while.
It is a pretty meaty pad, isn't it? There's a lot there, and it's quite it's a rough surface as well, so it is quite abrasive to get that gunk off there. A lot of the times you'd almost expect this to be softer and almost like like a cloth or something like that to clean it off, but it is it's almost sandpapery, but not too aggressive to actually damage the rail. It's just enough to get the dirt off. But there's a lot of chunkiness there to it, so I don't think you'd have to be changing that out too often. But
if you do need a replacement pad, if you've got a huge layout or something like that, they are available and are available to order on our website too.
Indeed. 700 Shunter says he's going to buy one of these to help clean his new ex-LSWR model layout. A good mix of old and new. Glen Shield Railway says an absolute must for larger layouts. Now, that's something that I've just thought about really, is that this has a perfect use on layouts that potentially have difficult to reach areas as well, because most people on a big layout, you've got parts that you can't really access by hand that easily without clambering over bits or knocking scenery over or having to go under and over and around the back and all that. So it's nice to just have something that will go around the track and do it for you, or even if you've got a tunnel or something on your layout, you don't have to reach right in and clean it. So it makes things a lot simpler.
Absolutely. They take all the really tough parts out of it, where you got to sort of twist your arm around about 3 times and that sort of thing. So
end up doing a sprain in your arm or something like that.
So worth a think about if that describes your layout.
Ben Davis says he hopes to get one of them today. I Like Transport says the cleaner wagon looks really good, and it's in his era as well. And Ben Davis again says, if you could change the print job, which one would you pick?
Now, the great thing about this is it's suitable for really up-to-date modelers. The network rail livery coming in the early 2000s and having quite a presence then. I'd like one for the slightly earlier era in the British Rail colour scheme. It wouldn't be too different than that. Maybe just a logo change, which some of you may try yourselves. But just coming back into that departmental style of the 1970s and 1980s, just so it looks perfect with a blue locomotive, nice blue diesel, something along those lines.
You can see it in comparison with the VEAs there, and there is almost a style similarity with these, obviously both being four-wheeled and that kind of body shape. I could see that in the departmental grey and yellow, or the Speedlink as well, and I think that would look fantastic in one of those, and like you say, it'd make it accurate for a BR modeler there as well.
That's certainly it, but the yellow wouldn't stand out even on an earlier layout, really. So if you've not quite got a bang-up-to-date layout, still consider one, because they do look really well on any layout that's double-O. And the most important thing is, as well, they work really well, so they'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of doing the boring chores and maintaining your layout.
That's it, just take some of the bore out of it. I'd quite like to see one in Network Rail Blue as well, a little bit like the RHTT, which is just behind my head there. So it'd fit in quite well with one of those, I think, if it was in blue.
Almost like a support vehicle then, isn't it? Really?
Or like a barrier vehicle or something like that. It could look quite good, I think. There's always an excuse in there somewhere, isn't there? John Fenney says, can the cleaning wagon be run with the pad raised, as in not cleaning it? I don't believe it can. I think it is permanently down. It is removable, isn't it?
With how the springers are fixed, it is always putting pressure on the track, but you could unscrew it if you did want to run it without, whether you were just running it as part of a train or a demonstration, etc. So you could unscrew it as if you were replacing the pad and just not put it back on. Yeah. But if you've got the pad on there, it is always applying pressure with how the springs are set up.
Excellent. Model Bezez 84 says he got his yesterday and it's done a great job, and we even gave him a retweet on Twitter. So good job on our
Glad to hear it's doing well.
Lakota for Alf also says, tunnels are so difficult to clean. So there you go.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Right, we're coming up to nearly about 15 minutes left of the stream now, so if there's anything else you want to ask us or any questions, get them down in the chat now. Got a couple of extra little topics we're going to go through quickly. But yeah, get those questions in there, and we're about 15 minutes left.
Well, we always cover a bit of a bargain, don't we? And you spotted a bit of a bargain online this week, actually. I think this is our real railway news story of the week, and Jack looked at getting a bit of spending on the go and found something to buy.
potentially get a mortgage, swap a bit of the funds around. Maybe I could afford this, but not quite yet. Obviously, we're always talking about our model railways, but we saw in the news that you can actually buy your own railway, as in full-size railway,
yes,
for £300,000. So for the price of a medium-large house, you can have an entire railway. Now, this is the Hayling Island Railway down south. This is near Portsmouth sort of area.
Yes.
This is a 2-foot gauge, narrow gauge line. It's about just over a mile long,
yeah,
and it opened back in 2003. Now, they operate a few different locomotives down there. You've got a mixture of sort of steam look-alike but powered by diesel, and then a couple, as you can see there, heritage diesel locomotives that would have been seen in mines and quarries and that sort of thing on little narrow gauge lines. And there's even a locomotive that's named after me.
Well, there you go. I think that's why you've been looking at making the purchase there. And this is actually on the market. You do get the whole lot for the £300,000 as well. You get the operating licence, the locomotive, the coaches, the 1.1 miles of railway,
stations,
the whole lot.
Right.
It's all yours. And I mean, it's a little bit too big to feature on the table today, really. It might not be something we can squeeze into the platform on studio, but
we can't get the Jack logo. Well, we maybe could if we had a train or something, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
But it's just an interesting one to see that a full railway operation, it's almost a real-life train set, really, isn't it?
It is.
That's available. And a lot of people have already responded to this. Quite a few people thinking of forming cooperatives to buy it, etc. Yeah. And it's actually took the model railway and the real railway industry by storm a little bit.
It's gone almost viral. It's been circulating quite a lot over social media, and there has been a lot, like Dave says, a lot of interest in it already. If I had the money, I would certainly be snapping that up, I think.
One thing we always hear when myself and Jack are at shows, or whether we're down in our store or on the phones, we do hear the likes of, what would you buy if you had infinite money? Oh, well, I'd have a full locomotive, I'd have a real railway, I wouldn't have a train set, I'd have a big train set. And now's your chance, if you've got nearly over £500,000 just lying around, it's a good opportunity to do it. But it's something you rarely see, and I quite like the difference, because within the model railway industry, it's all currently available. You can buy a full starter set right now if you wanted to, in either N gauge, double O gauge or O gauge. You can buy your track, you can buy locomotives very easily. In real life, you never get a full set that comes up like this.
You could buy a bit of a line, or you could buy a locomotive, or you could buy a carriage, but you can never buy an entire railway and the stock to run it. It's a Hornby starter set.
It is.
In real life. So we just thought that was absolutely fascinating. We just had to feature that today. We're always talking about, building our own model railways and owning our own railway in miniature scale, but never quite in that scale.
That's it. The opportunity's there for someone.
Someone out there's got to take it, haven't they? Well, Bluegrass Rail fan, he says £300,000 for a railway, that is a bargain.
It is.
It really is. I don't think there's ever going to be an opportunity to have a railway for that sort of price again. So some enterprising person is certainly going to have to snap that up and keep that railway going for generations to come. Ben Davis says that would be his dream, to get a full railway. That would be great. And Bluegrass Rail fan again says Indiana Transportation Museum up in Indianapolis had an auction earlier this week. Sadly, anything that didn't get bought was going for scrap, and there was a nice F3, F7 in Monon red and grey that's worth saving. That's a shame that things are going to be going for scrap, isn't it? But
it is. You can't save them all, unfortunately.
Aye, that's it. There's only so much room, I suppose. Right, now,
back to model railways.
Back to the models. Again, we'll get back on track, I promise. We've got some great news on the Great Model Railway Challenge, which is airing its first episode this very evening. UK viewers can watch on Channel 5 live on TV at 8 p.m. And after that, it will be available on demand on the online service that they have, My5 as well. Now, there is a link in the description to our webpage. We're going to keep you updated with the show as it goes along. We've got a link on there to watch it yourself online on My5. And we'll do little roundups after each episode as well to just highlight some of the goings on.
And it's more than an hour. It's an hour and 15 minutes an episode, isn't it? Sort of really put more in this time round for Series 2. There's a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to in there. And I believe we've got a trailer as well to have a look at.
We certainly have. So I will pass you over to the trailer right now.
The Great Model Railway Challenge is back, and it's smaller than ever. 15 teams of Britain's best model makers go head-to-head to create jaw-dropping worlds.
They're attaching some dinosaur bones to the cliff.
Can they keep these layouts on track?
It's just amazing. So much detail and quality.
Big competition, very little time.
30 minutes, guys, 30 minutes, come on.
Pressure is on.
Tiny trains, tiny margins.
All aboard!
Great to see some new ideas evolving.
For the biggest little show on TV.
Full steam ahead!
The Great Model Railway Challenge starts next Friday at 8 on Channel 5.
Now, as you can see, it's going to look like it's going to be a great season again. I don't know if everyone managed to see the first series last year, but we really enjoyed it here at Hattons. We almost sort of, I think we called it Modeller's Eurovision in a way, didn't we? Because it was something that we all gathered around on our phones while we were watching it and texted each other about what was going on. But it's a fantastic show, and it really just shows what is capable in modelling, really.
It's great for inspiration. There's so many sort of new departures on how to model things, certainly with a time period as well. There's sort of stress a little bit of doing it against the clock, but at the same time, some of the skills on there, it's suitable for everyone, whatever scale you model, whatever level of experience you've got. There is something you will learn. You'll get a new tip, you'll get a new trick, or you'll just enjoy the thrill of it.
That's it. I mean, it's not just for modelers, this. It's great for anyone to watch. It's just a piece of entertainment. As you saw from the trailer there, there's sure to be a lot of excitement in this series. There was landslides of snow there and
the volcano
epic cliffs,
coming
volcanoes, fog effects, everything. So it's fascinating to just see how they managed to get all that together, and the time scales that they have to produce these is insane, really.
Yes.
It's a matter of days or even a day in some cases to get an entire layout together on a specific theme, as grandiose as they can make it with as many effects as possible. So it's fascinating to see how that comes together, and we're really, really excited to see what the teams do this year, because last year's show already had some phenomenal layouts, which we were able to see shows even across the country.
Yes.
So it's going to be the one to watch.
It really is. And for any of our viewers who haven't quite made the step into railway modelling yet but are being tempted, it's a hugely recommended watch just to get that little bit of inspiration. But to bear in mind as well that pretty much everything you see we can provide. We can set you up with the track, we can set you up with the controllers, locos, layouts, the whole lot. We can get you sorted. So if you really do get the bug from the Great Model Railway Challenge, come and see us and we'll get you sorted.
If you get bitten by that bug, we will sort you out. Right, everyone's very excited about the show coming as much as we are, really. We've got Stuart Barnard says he's really looking forward to watching it. Ben Davis says, are you guys going to watch it? We sure are.
We are indeed.
Castle Junction is looking forward to it tonight. Bluegrass Rail Fan says it's a shame you can't get it in the States. Now, I'm not sure how you will be able to access it over the, because obviously we do have a lot of guys watching right now from the US, Australia, and elsewhere in the world. So we'll try and find out if it is possible to watch it worldwide, and we will get back to you in next week's episode if that is possible, because it's a shame that you'd have to miss out, really. 700 Shunter is excited to watch it. Andy1962 says he's looking forward to it, and a friend of his is a member from the Aberdeen Model Railway Club who won it last year.
Ah, okay.
Now, we actually did get to see their layout at one of the shows as well, which is the futuristic layout in the clouds with
the Sky City,
Sky City. That was, I thought that was awesome. So
it's a well-earned winner.
And we covered it in one of our previous videos actually at one point, so that was awesome to see. Jackamus Prime 60 says he bets us two are on the Model Railway Challenge. I don't remember being there.
No. I was too busy on platform one.
That's it. We're too busy here, I'm afraid. Flying Scott also says, got to say Simon A.C. Martin's contribution would be enough reason to watch it anyway. So there is a lot of modelers in the community and a lot of faces who are familiar who are probably going to be on the show. So it's going to be very fascinating to see who turns up, really.
That's it. It really is. Keep an eye out and keep your eyes peeled.
As well, we've just had a special bookazine come into stock from Peco, which is $4.99, and that is sort of a companion guide to the show. So it's got information on the teams this year, all about how they built the layouts last year, and some nice write-ups about celebrity modelers, how to get started in model railways yourself, and some other great bits of content in there as well. So that's available to order right now from the website. Link in the description for that as well. And if you're getting started in model railways, nice little companion guide to go along with the show too.
It is. It's not only just covering the show, as Jack mentioned, it's got some really great tips and tricks on how to do things like laying the track, connecting your power controller up, what scale to go for, gives you some really good ideas on the basics of scenery as well. So even if you're not a fan of the series, but you just want a couple of ideas for your layout, or you want a hand getting going, pick up that bookazine, because it does have all the tips of the trade in there too.
Just a generally good bookazine to get your hands on. Another one for your collection as well, if you're into collecting your mags and books as well. So yeah, we're really excited to see it. As again, it's on tonight for UK viewers on Channel 5 at 8 PM, and it's on weekly after that. And there's going to be quite a few episodes, and as Dave said, it's longer this time as well. So there's going to be packed full of modelling antics.
That's it, and check out the link in the description, as we'll be doing a bit of a write-up, but also putting the links where you can see it on the My5 catch-up as well.
That's it. Right, we're coming up to about 5 minutes left. Again, the stream's gone absolutely rapidly today, so we've probably got some time for a few more questions here, so do get those down in the chat if possible, and we will try and answer those for you. We've already got some good questions here, so we'll try and storm through as many as we can. Right, Ben Davis asks, myself and Dave going to be at the Great Electric Train Show, and we certainly are.
We are indeed. Now that is the 12th and 13th of October, and that is at Arena MK in Milton Keynes. It's a fantastic show. We went last year and had a really good weekend there with ourselves, but also the Hattons Originals range, other members of our team as well. We'll be there showing all our latest samples of our exclusive models, and also having a really good chat with fellow modelers about what makes them tick as well.
That's it. And it's not just us either. There's plenty of amazing layouts to go and see. There's other manufacturers there to get the updates on their models as well. And this is where following this event as well, that's where they'll have the announcement of the Hormy Magazine award ceremony as well.
Yes.
Which you can vote for right now, and we are nominated, as we mentioned last week. So any votes are greatly appreciated for that.
And we do have full details on that on our website too, under our exhibition data. So take a look on our website, and all the details are there.
Certainly is. SLD51 asks, could we do an O-Gauge starter bundle at some point?
It's something to consider. We do a number of bundles. We do have the double O-Gauge starter bundle, which is available on our website, which includes a train set, a manual on how to get started, a full station platform as well in there, and that's available for £65 at the moment. And I'm sure we can have a look into doing something in O-Gauge as well.
Potentially, there's more people getting into O-Gauge, so it might be something we could do in the future. And if you are looking to get into O-Gauge, we do have some bargains available right now as well.
Yes.
If you did want to get started, we've got Class 20s, our two exclusive ones available as bargains, and a few others as well, so do check those out.
And if you are thinking of getting started in any gauge, to be quite honest, do get in touch with our customer experience team. We've got some really knowledgeable guys in there, so we can get you started and have a bit of a chat about your ideal layout.
That's it, they can find the right products for your budget. Matthias Krigsman says, any news on the Hattons Class 66?
As we've covered in previous episodes, the 66 is still under development, and we are expecting it towards the end of the year. We've had some of the decorated samples through that we've shown off previously and can be seen on our website, and the development's carrying on and are on target towards December.
Aye, and we will have more updates on them in Platform 1, on the website and on our social media as well, so do stay tuned and we'll have more on it soon. Model Bizez 84 says, someone's finally spotted our little secret in the background. We've got, each week he sees a 66 body shell behind. Is it Flying Dustman? And is it due to release soon? It certainly is Flying Dustman, and this is an updated version of the body shell with a tweak to the tooling to make the different windows correct, isn't it, on the front? So, very
more on that soon.
Definitely. So, good eyes on you there. Stanley Carr says, are there any plans currently for an O-Gauge HST? Now, quite a few people are after an HST.
A lot of people ask for an HST, and I mean, it'd be quite a big box to keep it in, not only the power cars, but the Mark IIIs to go with it as well. But it is something we've heard a lot of people ask about, and if it is something you'd like to see, the best thing to do is drop an email to our ideas@hattons.co.uk address, because that goes right to our exclusive commissions team, and we review any ideas that we get. So if we get a lot of people asking about it, who knows?
Definitely. Right, we've got about 2 minutes left, guys, so we'll rapid fire for a few more questions and see if we can get through. Sorry if we don't get a chance to answer them, but do get in touch on social media or over the phones or over email, and our help desk guys can certainly help with any other queries you've got. Castle Junction says, when are we expecting the NTB Blue Peco B2? That's due next week, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's due next week, that one. Once we've got a fully confirmed date, we'll be updating our system and also putting it out on social media as well. But within the next week, we should have one of those, and hopefully on Platform 1 next week.
There we go. Andy1962 says, is there any news on the release date for the Hormy 92 in Caledonian Sleeper?
The latest we've had on those is any time between now and the end of November. Again, as soon as we get something a little bit more precise, we'll be updating our whole listings, so keep an eye on those.
All about the Hormy today. We've got Charles Curtis asking about, do we expect the Hormy 2019 Christmas wagon soon, as he posted about it on Instagram the other day.
Yes, that is another vehicle that will be in next week alongside the Peco in blue.
We've got SLD51 also asks, what scale is the KO Class 800 IEP going to be in?
It's going to be N-gauge, but the UK N-gauge, it's going to be 1 to 148 scale.
Brilliant.
So that will be perfect for UK modelers, and we are expecting to hear a little bit more about that over the next few days. So as soon as we get more information, keep an eye on our social media channels, and we'll feature it on Platform 1 as well. When we know more about the IEP in N-gauge, so will you.
Excellent. Right, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show, guys, there. So thanks very much all for joining us once again. Thanks for your fantastic questions. Like I said, if there's anything else you want to know or any burning questions you've got, get in touch on social media, over the phones, over email, and our awesome help desk team will be happy to help with anything you need. Really hope you've enjoyed what you've seen on the table today. If you want to know more about everything we featured, or if you want to buy it, or if you want to pre-order our A4s or anything like that, check out those links in the description, and everything is down there. And I think that's about it for us this week, isn't it?
It is indeed. We've gone through a lot of game, but there's something for everyone here on the table today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
See you next week, guys.